Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. Figured we'd do a live stream. So I know a lot of you guys had a bunch of questions. So thank you for joining me. We're going to see and make sure that everything goes live right now. It's a little glitchy right now on Restream, and I'm not so sure as to why. Let me try to reconnect for a second. But ultimately, folks, welcome to today's show. A lot going on in the world today. Glad you're with me. Let's see. Let's make sure that this doesn't look as glitchy on my end as it does on your end. Okay, looks smooth. Right now, my screen is blinking repeatedly, so I don't know what that means. But I'm very excited you guys are all here, of course. A lot going on. A lot going on in the world today. I wanted to actually talk to you guys all about FOIA requests. That's the Freedom of Information Act. As many of you guys know, I do that quite often. But again, a lot of people just don't even know about it. And I think it's really important that we do. And I think it's important that you all at home get involved. So many of you guys know I'm an independent journalist. I don't actually have like a big media outlet backing me. You could do this too. You could submit FOIA requests and get the information that you need. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to fight for transparency because I need all hands on deck. I can't do everything on my own, folks. It is a bit of a difficult task. Let's see. Let's make sure that we're live on all channels though. But I'm glad you guys are here with us tonight. Looks like we're up on the Dear America page as well. We're waiting for those push notifications to go out. A lot going on. Very excited that you guys are here. I've been on X and I've been going through a lot of the stuff going on X right now. Oh, my book. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Very excited about this. But I put up a very controversial tweet. And I didn't think it was controversial when I was posting it originally. Look, I mean, it's still getting a lot of traction. I've been talking about Chip Roy. As many of you guys know, Chip Roy is a congressman in Texas, and he is going to be running for Texas Attorney General. That's what he just recently announced. And it's very exciting because, again, Ken Paxton is someone who I think is the best Attorney General in the country. And so it's quite interesting to hear how others think that they're going to be able to fill his shoes. I'm a little skeptical on Chip Roy, and I'm going to deliver my rebuttal as to why I am. I know a lot of people were telling me, they're reaching out to me, they're like, Chip's really good. But then there was also other people telling me that Chip's absolutely a nightmare. And I'm going to give you both sides because I think that we should all be fair and balanced. But again, I am saying ultimately that I don't support Chip Roy to run for Texas AG. And I'll give you the details as to why tonight. I'm also going to break down a couple of other things. Like I said, we're going to talk about the FOIA requests and how you can get involved on a local level and how you guys could submit FOIAs. Because I think that's absolutely really, really important, of course. And again, let's see, what else do we have today? Oh, the cartels. I'll talk a little bit about cartels because I think everyone's really excited that President Trump is going after the cartels. And now Mexico looks like they are complying. Mexico deported 26 high-ranking cartel members to the United States. That's how the AP is wording it. And the details are very limited, so we're going to handle that appropriately. But again, it's a report from the Associated Press, so we will tread lightly on the subject matter, but we have to talk about it. Ashley Biden getting divorced. I won't even repeat what I tweeted out earlier today. And we'll talk about Texas because Texas is a very interesting state. Now I'm here, moved here. Figured there was a lot of rhinos here, and why not jump in the fray? And so that's what I'm doing, and I'm very excited to do just that. A lot more going on too in the world today that we're going to dive into as well. I got to call it the rhinos. But first, I want to kick off the show, obviously, with going over the FOIA request. I know a lot of you at home had a lot of questions about that. A lot of you are very much into potentially being able to create a more transparent government. I think that's something that we should all be involved in. And as many of you guys know, this is the Tuesday live stream, so I don't have producer Pete on my side today. It is just me. So I'm controlling everything. So bear with me because I am not a technological genius. I am barely getting by. And we're trying to fix the coloring because I look like I'm green. I'm not green, folks. I promise you that. Folks, if you're in the Rumble chat as well, let's pull that up on the screen. If you are in the Rumble chat tonight, welcome to the show. We've got the show page, the Brianna Morello show page up and running. I don't know what everyone else is saying right now. So the Rumble page is up and running. I try to read at the same time. We're also going to be streaming live over at Dear America. So if you're over there, welcome to the show. A lot happening today, folks. And again, I could tell my background's not accurate, but we just have to wing it at this point. I don't know what's going on. That's a Pete question. But Pete has a day off. So you're stuck with just me and a lot of technical issues. So bear with us. But folks, I want to talk about this because I think it's really important that we do. I want to talk about FOIA requests. So for those of you that don't know what a FOIA request is, let me explain it. So it's a Freedom of Information Act. Now, and we can pull up Google. I know a lot of you don't trust Google, but we're going to pull up Google for this one. Google, when it comes to a FOIA request, it's a Freedom of Information Act request, which is supposed to be a level of transparency. It's supposed to provide us with transparency. A lot of local governments have it, and obviously our federal government. But ultimately, not all agencies enjoy FOIA requests. Now, you could apply for FOIA requests through law enforcement agencies. The White House is exempt from it, so you can't apply for that. Your local sheriff's office, your local PD, ICE, DHS, like all of those entities, you could apply a FOIA request to. But depending upon your state regulations, there's certain things that you can FOIA and certain things that they will not give you. And so the easy part to this all is if you're someone who's not a lawyer and you want to FOIA something, do it. Do it. It is the easiest thing that you can do. So let's just say I want to FOIA the Palm Beach police. You literally just Google it and everything pops up. It's very easy to do. It's all really done electronically, and it's one of the easiest things to do. So let me give you some background on federal FOIAs. So federal FOIAs, the government does have, and it's taking a little bit long to upload. The government does have 20 business days from the day that you've sent it to respond. And they're supposed to respond. And that's the reason why I've had so many lawsuits pile up against the federal government and other local governments as well. Well, we're going to be against other local governments as well, I should probably say, because if they don't comply, you can sue them. And when you take them to court, you don't have to really pay the legal fees. Some lawyers will make you pay it up front. But ultimately, if you have a strong case, usually you could recoup those fees from the person you're suing. So like Palm Beach County, let's say I wanted to record or to get the recordings from a police interaction. I would just Google simply Palm Beach. This is the town of Palm Beach, by the way. And so if you wanted to submit a request, it's simple. I mean, it literally just popped up and it was so easy to do. Government agencies, police public records requests. And you submit the FOIA through this. Now, okay, let's say you're like, Brianna, like how do I word this FOIA request? What do I do specifically? Okay, you have to be very specific with FOIA requests. And I'll give you like an example. So let's say you're looking for a body cam footage from an officer. And you know the officer's name. So let's just say it's Officer John Johnson. And this incident took place on July 12th of 2025. And it happened at 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right. So you have to put all of that information down there. If you have an incident report, you have to include that so that they could cite that. And it's really just trying to help the person whose job it is to find all the records because they have to do a lot of reaching out to folks. They've got to do a lot of exploring. And so you want to make it as simple as you can for them. But I like to cast a very just wide net when I submit my FOIA request, especially with the federal government. So as many of you guys know, I've been battling it out, I'd say, with my local police department over an incident that took place with the man I told you guys last time who followed me into my building. And ultimately, I have FOIA'd that. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm looking for the body cam footage. I'm looking for the surveillance footage, and I'm looking for the police report, and I'm looking for anything that was submitted as evidence. And so my FOIA request would be quite simple, right? I would simply, let's switch it up to the other one. So for my FOIA request, I'm going to do 3 separates because I'm looking for a lot of different elements, and I don't want them to reject me just straight off the cuff because I'm asking for so much. And that's the key to all of this too, that you guys have to know. Like they will try to reject you for nothing, One second. Folks, if you are on X right now, I can't even see. Restream is going wild right now. So I can't even, and if I click out on the whole stream, so we're just got to sadly not include your comments on that. But if you're in Rumble, your comments will be up on the screen over at the Brianna Morello show page. Okay, so let me explain. Okay, local police department. I'm looking for body cam footage, the actual police report. I'm also looking for the evidence that was turned in. And I'm also requesting other body cam footage, but let's just narrow it down to that. Okay. So I've submitted my request and I've done 3 different requests for the same police department. Because I don't want them to reject all of them. I want them to, they're going to reject one, whatever. I could possibly battle that out, which is the one. So I'm going to submit 3 of them, and I did so. So the one in regards, let's focus on the body cam footage. So in the body cam footage request, I write in the description, and anyone could do this. You don't have to be media. Let me remind you, you could just be somebody at home who maybe you're the victim of a crime and you want to see what was going on behind the scenes with local law enforcement. You can. That's the beauty of all of this. It's supposed to create transparency. You know, your government hates transparency. Okay, so what you're going to do in that FOIA request is you're just going to say, I'm looking for Officer John Johnson's body camera footage from the moment he stepped out of his vehicle to the moment when he departed wherever scene he was at. For me, it was my complex, so I could say that. And I want the full footage. Here's my incident report number. Here's the date and the time. And I always overestimate how much you're looking for because you could scrub through it. You don't want them giving you a limited window. Ask for as much as you want. Okay, so that's my one request. I put that forward. And that right now, because I live in Texas, Texas is a little strange when it comes to body cam footage. So that's being appealed right now. They actually took that one, they passed it up to Paxton's office. So looking to see if Attorney General Ken Paxton is looking to disclose that body cam footage. They're looking for legal guidance. That's still pending. Another one I filed. I wanted the footage from a police department. They have a camera in from the police department. So I want their footage. And I want their footage for a whole hour long. So I submitted a separate FOIA request. In that one, this is my second one I submitted. In that one, I specifically outlined all of the details. I'm looking for your camera that is in front of your police station. You give them the address of the police station. I'm looking for the camera that is on the front door of that police station. And then I also tell them that I am looking for it from 11 a.m. to noon. And that helps them kind of crunch down as to what they're looking for. So that's the other one. Now I did a separate one. So this is my third one for one incident. Because again, you don't want them shooting you down if you put it all in one. Do it separate. My next request. Please give me the file, the police report regarding, and I'm the victim in the case, so I get the police report regarding, and I give them the incident number that took place on July 12th, 2025. And I am looking for the police report and any evidence that was submitted. Now, that's the key point, okay? And this is where I caught my local police department slipping up. And they have since apologized for it, and they say they're correcting the issue. It looks like Rumble still hasn't pushed out a notification yet that we're live. So, folks, bear with me. But this is where I caught my local PD slipping up. So I get the police report, and I'm looking at the police report. And unfortunately, this officer was not being truthful in his police report. And again, I'm going to leave the police station department out, the name of it specifically for now, because I've given them a lane for redemption. So I'm going to see if they take them up on that, if they do what they're supposed to be doing. But ultimately, this officer lied in the police report. And I have evidence of that. And in the police report, this officer sadly is misrepresenting what took place. He's claiming that he went to the management company, the property owners, and reported what happened to me, which I have strong. I know that didn't happen. J-Dub, thank you for that. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. And just to kind of, I want to make sure everyone has this information because it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. So what you're going to do is you are going to submit that type of a request and you're going to see what they give you back. So I got the police report back again for my incident. It's like I just told you, he lied. The first detail on it, he's lying. He didn't request it. I went and got it because he didn't take my claim seriously. And I have an email proof of just that. So I actually made a trip down to the police station last Friday to report this officer for lying and not taking my report seriously. And then I also learned that he never submitted the surveillance footage, which recorded the incident that took place that I am reporting. He never submitted it forward as evidence. This is why it's so important, folks. If you have an interaction with law enforcement, we don't have to be douchebags, right? We don't have to sit there and attack them because you and I both know it's kind of, it could be iffy. I'm not sitting here and want to attack law enforcement. I have family members who are members of law enforcement. But what I'm telling you is you need to check them to make sure that, because not all officers are the same. There's a lot of lazy people working in law enforcement. Okay, so I get back again. I find out that he didn't submit the surveillance footage, which is literally the most basic thing that he should have done. He's describing, he's downplaying everything that happened in the incident, and he doesn't include the surveillance footage. And so, listen, we could sit here and talk about mistakes being made. I agree, mistakes can be made. But if I didn't FOIA my own incident, I wouldn't have known that that officer lied on a police report and didn't submit surveillance footage as evidence. The surveillance footage that I had to fight to obtain because I wrote the management company, the property owner of the property took place on, and I forced them to send it to police. And they did. And they've been very nice to me since. But I had to send a threat because they ignored me twice. The third time I say I'm going to hire an attorney if you guys do not do what you should ethically be doing. And then they said that they forwarded it to law enforcement. And that officer, because he wanted to downplay everything that took place to me, took place against me, decided to make everything super light, and then didn't submit the evidence, which was the visual evidence of my complaints and why I called police. He didn't submit it as evidence. So this is why it's so important, folks, for you all at home, when you call the police, let's say it's even like a custody battle. Let's say you're fighting your ex over kids. And I get it. I don't want to encourage that. But let's just say this person calls, say your ex-wife is named Jenny. Okay. Jenny has an interaction with law enforcement. You know the time of day it happened and you know what department it happened with. You could call the police station. You could try to get the information regarding the incident report, who the officer was that responds. That's really important and it helps whoever's fulfilling that FOIA request. But I could promise you, and you all should do it, because I know so many people who are in custody battles who do it, when they FOIA the body cam footage of an ex-spouse, and they look at what's happening and what they're telling the law enforcement officer, directly you have the actual physical evidence, man, oh man, that could be used in court. Did she lie? Did Jenny lie? FOIA everything, okay? Now listen, there's a lot of things you can't get back in a FOIA, but let the government tell you can't get it. And let them cite the exact law that says that they are exempt from complying with it. I know, Jenny. It's such a funny name. But I want to inspire everyone at home right now. If you're watching on X, YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble, we're on the Zero America page. We are also on our show page. Hey, everyone on the Zero America chat. I know you guys are there. I see we got 158 people watching right now. I'm on the other page too. I'm going to try to flip back and forth. I'm not as skilled though. If you want to catch my attention, jump over to that show page. I just left a comment there. Hey, Lurk, what's going on, my friend? Argil, Tyler, hello. Morphs, hello. As always, Ty, hello. But fight like hell for the evidence that you need. I'm telling you, if you're in a custody battle and you have an ex who's calling the police or has an interaction with law enforcement, you never know what you're going to see on that camera. Get it. Get it. And it's free. You have to pay for the DVD if they're doing it in DVD form. I don't know why they do, but some police stations still do. Delray Beach Police, when I requested a body cam footage video, because the person who interacted with me after an incident took place between me, the police officer, and this other person, took responsibility for what happened to my vehicle in front of the officer, and then quickly changed it up when it was time to escalate the issue weeks later. And then all of a sudden didn't want to take responsibility. So I actually had FOIA'd right after the incident took place, the body cam footage from that cop, and I got it. I was able to prove that they did actually take responsibility in front of the police officer. Here's the footage. Man, FOIAs are so important. Again, it's Freedom of Information Act. You never know. If you go to civil court and you want to catch someone and lie, let them lie. And then just say, Your Honor, hold on a second. I've got civil court, family court. I've got this footage right here. That's not what took place. It's a great thing, and I highly recommend everyone do just that, regardless of it. Even if it's just a car accident, get the FOIA, because you don't know what the other driver said to the police officer, and you might need it. Why not? It takes literally 15 minutes tops. So again, how are you doing it? Well, you're going to go to Google. You're going to type in whatever the police station is, or whatever the entity is. I, for one, have a lot with ICE, DHS. So I submit through their database, of course. But also, Like, you never know. Do it. So after you Google it, go to their website, fill it out, online portal. Most of them are pretty much online portals. Morphs are all police departments using body cam now. Yeah, they're supposed to be. Except the FBI. The FBI is strangely exempt. Hey, Tack, you can't FOIA my lasagna recipe. I don't even make lasagna. I know. I'm a fake Italian. Thank you for that. I appreciate your support as always. I have such a loyal audience, you guys. Thank you all for that you guys do. I know, like, and I'm very excited about this. Here, let me bring it back up on the main screen, even though it's a hot mess right now. I don't even know why it's doing that in the background. Couldn't get enough time to go fix that, but you know, we survive. I actually just recently started putting this into the description of the videos. But if you guys are interested, oh, I have actually good news for you guys. Okay, so let me start off with this. Da, 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 da. I'm so excited. Okay, if I was ever going to put together a book, you guys know what kind of book it was always going to be. It was always going to be a photo book because I'm not really one that likes to write long, lengthy sentences. So I was always going to have a photo book. So here it is, right? We sit here, we talk about the left all the time, and we're always bashing the left. And I probably should go get it. I actually have a copy of it right now. We're always bashing the left because the left likes to put ugly women on magazine covers and pretend like they're gorgeous, right? Like Jill Biden, gross. Woman literally wears a picnic tablecloth as a dress. Like, look how stunning she is. Vogue. Always, come on. We literally have the most stunning first lady in American history ever. Ever. That woman on your screen. And for some reason, they're all neglecting it. Actually, let me grab a copy of it because maybe I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab it. It's right in the other room. Okay. I'm gonna have to put this behind me. Here it is. I finally have the first copy, and I'm very excited for this. And actually, we took President Trump off the book because we want to make it all about Melania. And she looks absolutely stunning, as she always does. But folks, I'm so excited for this book. I'm so excited. So we just put the pre-order up right now on Amazon. And this is going to go on sale on the 16th of September, so next month. But if you want an autograph copy, hold off. Don't buy it on Amazon. If you could cancel it for now. We are going to be setting up probably on the independentnewsroom.com, and make sure you subscribe. So I'll put out the push notification on there and send you an email when it's available. But I'm working the logistics out of sending everyone personalized autograph copies if you want that. It's going to be a little bit more expensive because it's going to be something that I actually physically have to do, and I have to pay the shipping on it because we don't use the Amazon shipping for that. So it might be a little bit more expensive, but it's going to be reasonable. I'm going to make it as reasonable as possible for you guys because I love you all dearly. But like literally, and we have like the little descriptions. It's like the perfect coffee table book for those of you who have coffee tables, who have guests over your house. I mean, you really want to set the tone. This is the book for you. I have it on my coffee table right now, and I'm very excited about this. It is one of those things, and it's a second edition. There was a first edition that was done, not by me, but the publisher that I use. Here, I'll put it up here actually. The publisher that I use actually did it, and they didn't have anyone's name to put behind it. And I was like, you know what? I would actually love to do that. Because again, there's not enough people who sit there and celebrate Melania Trump. So it's all my favorite Melania Trump looks thus far. She's got many. I mean, the woman is stunning. And so we've got that link for you. I put it in the description of this video for those of you who are online right now. Hold off, though, if you want an autographed copy. It's literally going to be handled very, very soon. But let me put it up in all the chats because I know a lot of you guys are looking for it. And I think you guys are the best. I think you're going to love it because I love it. And I'm very excited about this. It was something that, we put together. And I always joke because like I'm not much of a writer. But when it comes to celebrating beautiful women, I'm on board. And I think that we all should. I think we all should. Because I'm so tired of the left. They get to celebrate their ugly, ugly, ugly personalities. Well, the least we could do is celebrate someone who's absolutely stunning, breathtaking, classy, and so much more. So, folks, head on over. If you're looking for just a regular copy, feel free. It is available right now for pre-order on Amazon. I just dropped the link in. You guys click it. Feel free to buy that now. If you want to hold off and wait a little bit, I will have a copy for everyone where you guys could get an autographed copy, of course. And I also want to remind you, I'm going to have, so if you head over right now to the independentnewsroom.com, let me get that up on the screen. Yeah, again, I don't know why my, this thing is so messed up right now. So if you go to the independentnewsroom.com, sign up for the newsletter. It's free. Just hit that subscribe button right there. And it's going to take you to this page here. Fill it out, subscribe for free. I will let you guys all know when the autograph section is available. And we're working on it. It just takes a little bit of logistics to get that done. But again, I will be doing that myself. So head on over, independentnewsroom.com, sign up. It is free, free, free. And we are also looking for you to subscribe as well. Free email list, unless you want to support my work as an independent journalist, which you guys know I rely on. So I appreciate it when you become a paid subscriber. And at the end of the show, I go through those who have subscribed and donated through our website, and I send you a personal thank you. So again, independentnewsroom.com. If you want to hear from me after the show, feel free to subscribe, and then I will send you an email. Thank you. Okay. A lot going on in the world today. So as I said, the FOIA request, everyone should do it. I highly recommend you all do it. It's very, very simple. And you're just going to want to, and again, if there's a cost, it's literally usually just the cost of the DVD, if there's a DVD involved in all of this. But that's what I would highly recommend everyone start doing. Any interaction you have with law enforcement, document it. Get it. You're not being a jerk. You're not being a anti-law enforcement. You're being intelligent. That is what smart people do. And I highly recommend we all be smart. Okay, let's see what else we have going on in the world today. Because, folks, if you're in the Rumble chat, hello, hello, hello. I appreciate your support as always. As always, let's see. Let's go to X. Let's go to X. Restream is acting funny today. So I want to, I don't know why it's being so weird. All right, here, let me retweet this so it populates. That's the problem with X. I love X, but it also takes some time before you could, it takes some time. It's so strange. And it doesn't just keep popping up at the top of people's timeline. So if you miss it within that first whatever seconds, you don't see it. But folks, we're going to talk about Chip Roy for a little bit because Chip Roy wants to run right now. And I don't know why it says promote. Okay, Chip Roy right now wants to run for Texas AG. That's what his goal is. He wants to replace Ken Paxton. But is Chip Roy eligible to replace Ken Paxton? Well, obviously, logistically, he can run. Yes, no one's questioning whether Chip Roy is eligible to run for AG. But we are going to question his background a bit. Now, listen, folks, I'm not going to sit here and bash him. I'm not going to call him names. I don't agree with doing that. I think that we can have political discussions with people we disagree with without going low. So let's just talk about what we know in regards to Chip Roy. Chip Roy, the reason why I'm not a supporter of Chip Roy was the litmus test, where politicians, when it came to George Floyd, really showed their true colors. Were they cowards? Did they stand up against the mob of left-wing liberal hacks by supporting George Floyd before they knew any of the facts? Obviously, the video was very emotional, but that's when you take a step back and you wait before the facts come out. Unfortunately for Chip Roy, that didn't happen. You know, I was going through it online. I'm trying to pull up, and like this one article cited. Now I get it. He is from the Austin region, but folks, we here like I if you are a Republican politician, this is just inexcusable. When Chip Roy was discussing this, he said, "What we now need is justice for Floyd, an immediate end to ongoing lawlessness." And it's not just that he said. I mean, he literally said that George Floyd is in heaven. That was 4 days after George Floyd was killed. George, I mean, the guy who overdosed, I mean, it just doesn't even make any sense. It's one of those things that you have to wonder, like, why would a politician do this? Why would a politician do this? Why would an elected official not hold back and wait because you know there's going to be a criminal trial likeliness? And why would you sit there and want to spew things that could possibly not give whoever is the person who has to defend themselves fair justice? The opportunity to defend themselves. You're weighing the scales for these people when you sit here and you make statements like this. I'm so thankful to know that Mr. Floyd is with our Heavenly Father. The guy who put a loaded gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, it's not like he was reformed. I mean, he allegedly was using a fake dollar bill at a grocery or at a convenience store. And according to experts who spoke, they literally said that he had fentanyl in his system. So again, that's why you wait for the facts on those types of issues. And I just don't understand why Chip Roy went here. But then you have to really wonder, is this a guy who's capable of leading? I mean, Ken Paxton is a fighter. Ken Paxton, like by far, is the best AG throughout the entire country. The best. The best. And why do I feel that way about him? Well, I mean, just today alone, I mean, he went after a pharmaceutical company today, saying that this pharmaceutical company is pushing medications onto doctors and giving them money for it. That's what he's alleging. There's not many AGs who'd even take on that fight. I don't know of any, honestly. I know in Missouri they have Bailey, and I think he's good, but he's no Ken Paxton. And so for anyone who's going to fill Ken Paxton's seat, you've got to be able to take on that fight. He's the best attorney general we have in this country. And for someone like Chip Roy, it's not there. I mean, he advocated for Liz Cheney. I won't even get into his feud with President Trump. Obviously, yeah, that weighs a lot. But and even the DeSantis thing doesn't even bother me either, because I like Governor Ron DeSantis when it came to COVID-19 and how he ran things in the state of Florida. I like him. I don't even have anything really negative to say about DeSantis. So I'm not even going to hold that to him. But when it comes to sitting here and saying that George Floyd deserves justice, it's weakness. It's weakness. And we're so fed up with seeing it. In the state of Texas, there are so many weak Republicans. Ken Paxton, not one of them. So if you're going to fill Ken Paxton's seat, you got to be ready. You've got to be ready. And again, I'm not even mad at anything that Chip Roy has said in criticism of President Trump. That doesn't bother me. I am a free speech absolutist. I'm not going to call him any names. There's no need to. There's no need to. Because there's plenty of times where I've actually agreed with Chip Roy. Folks, if you're enjoying tonight's stream, make sure you hit that like button right now. But there's plenty of times where I've actually really enjoyed Chip Roy's takes on things. And so I really, I just can't support him. I can't support him when it comes to AJ because I don't think he has the fight. Now, there's a couple of other people. You know, we've had one of the other candidates on this program, and I'm very thankful that Aaron Wright took the time to be on the show. And you know, so far I like what I see, but I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to endorse anyone until we actually know all the facts. And I look forward to that. But we want a fighter. We don't want someone who's weak. Ken Paxton's a fighter. I mean, the deep state literally went after Ken Paxton. By the way, Chip Roy actually called for Ken Paxton to resign over these accusations that were clearly being flamed and pushed forward by the deep state because Ken Paxton's a fighter. And so they wanted to go after him. And so to see Chip Roy call for his resignation was foolish. It was absolutely foolish. It was absolutely foolish. So we need someone who's intelligent enough to see that something that's being pushed forward is deep state propaganda. Yeah. Tack saying that Chip Roy, going off of the Floyd situation, that is not AG material. I agree. I do. I think it's so crazy that we sit here and pretend like this guy's got what it takes to be AG. I know, and I saw that like Glenn Beck, who I love, quote tweeted me in disagreement, and it was very respectful, wasn't any like shady, but like they have a personal friendship. And I respect that. You're allowed to be friends with these people. I just think that when it comes time to fill in Ken Paxton's seat, we need someone out there who's got the cojones to take that fight on. Ken Paxton taking on Big Pharma again today. I mean, this is the type of person you want. I don't want him to run for Senate, but it's a little too late now. Folks, did you guys catch what happened yesterday? Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Let's pull up the screen. John Cornyn, speaking of Texas rhinos. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's my beef with Cornyn, right? He's a prop of the deep state. There's nothing more to it. And I find it to be extremely discouraging. But he went, here we go. Okay, so John Cornyn went and defended FISA and said that FISA has never been used on American citizens. He did this during the confirmation hearing for Pam Bondi. And I have to say, that's a lie. He knows it's a lie because the person who nominated Pam Bondi was affected by FISA. They spied on him through FISA. And so to sit there and say that FISA is not used against the American people is a very bold lie. We know it was used against him. The President of the United States. So we have this individual who's out here and who is saying that FISA has never been used against the American people and calling it disinformation for anyone who disputes that. Well, I've got a problem with that. I've got a big problem with that. John Cornyn does not represent the people of Texas. He represents the people in the deep state. And so I thought it was very, very interesting because he kept doing this. Okay, so like take a look at this tweet. Like they keep saying that it was edited. And here's why he keeps editing it. You see this? He was being ratioed by me at the time. And so what he kept doing, or his staffers kept doing, is they kept editing the tweet and they weren't changing anything in the tweet. So I wasn't happy that he was using my tweet because he's lying to Texans and pretending like he's a fighter. He's not a fighter. He never has been a fighter. He is weak. He is spineless. He does not deserve to represent Texans. Did he delete it? Oh, he might have deleted it. Let's see. Let's slowly scroll through this. So it would be over. Yeah, looks like he did. What a coward that guy is. What a freaking coward. Yeah, it's gone now. Well, John Cornyn, an absolute coward. And when he goes to campaign, I will be there. You know, he doesn't make a lot of appearances, but folks, I will be there. As a member of the media, I will be there. Because you cannot sit there and tell me that you deserve your position when you've abandoned your oath several times. Several times. And they're even using Senate Republicans, their official accounts, to push for Cornyn and to push against Paxton. And it's like, that's an absolute load of you know what. And so I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of this guy. He is a liar. He is an absolute liar. And we cannot continue to reward people who are absolute garbage, who do nothing to protect us, who do nothing to protect you and I, free speech, Texans who are being targeted by the Biden regime for J6, for appearing at a rally, a legal rally that they were permitted to be at. Send him packing. John Cornyn needs to go. He needs to go. And Ken Paxton's going to do it. Now, do I want Ken Paxton to run? Not really, no. Why? Well, I really like him as AJ. I don't know if you guys could tell. I have no like financial ties to I don't have any deals with Chip or anyone to pay me to go after Chip Roy. I probably should say this because so many people are taking so much money behind the scenes. I'm not getting paid to go against Chip Roy, to oust any of his information. I'm not getting paid to advocate for Ken Paxton. I'm not getting paid to go against John Cornyn. I think that they're just not good people in regards to Cornyn and in regards to others like Chip Roy. That's my take. Texas has a massive, massive rhino problem. And so we need a massive purge. We need a massive purge. Folks, head over to independentnewsroom.com. Sign up for my newsletter. Again, I don't spam you. As you guys can see, my last story went out on the 29th. I only give you exclusives. So that's where you're going to want to be. Head on over independentnewsroom.com. It is going to be the best of the best stories sent directly to your inbox. And God forbid if I get yanked from any social media platform and you want to stay connected, this is the way we're going to be able to do it because this is my own email list. So head on over independentnewsroom.com. Subscribe today. There is a free option. There is also a paid option as well. You get to pick. Let's talk crime. Because I know it's a trendy story these days. And I know I was talking about it earlier as well. But I want to talk. I don't know why. This is so frustrating. Let me pop into this chat. Let's see. It's just loading. There's something really strange going on. Hey, everyone on X. I didn't even know X had a live chat option. That's pretty cool in there. I know it pops up and generates and restream, but that was cool. Oh, I don't know if you guys know this. Let me just throw a real fun fact out at you guys before we go into the next topic. The FBI does not wear body cams And they are the only law enforcement agency that executes warrants, um, and that interacts with the public as the interviewing process, the investigative process, that doesn't wear body cams. And I have a massive issue with that because a lot of you know J6ers, before the FBI raided their home, if they had any cameras on the outside of their home, the FBI destroyed it or put black tape over it. So you weren't able to see what they were actually doing. There's other people who accuse the FBI of planting evidence. And so I don't think the FBI should be exempt from transparency because you and I both know that they are not. They are not a neutral law enforcement agency, even to this day. There's a lot of purging going on in the FBI, and I love it. I think that this is a good start, I should say. But there's more bad than good in the FBI, and so they've got a lot more purging out to do. So I don't think that the FBI should be exempt from having body cams. And that takes Congress to get involved. And that takes Congress to withhold funding to make sure that is a top priority. All right, let's talk crime because I posted this earlier today, and I know a lot of you guys were very much interested in this topic. Let's see. Not this one. It was about New York. New York is an absolute dumpster fire. You and I both know this, but ultimately, this is a where is it? Well, you found it. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about New York because when I started off my career news, it was this beat right here. New York Democrats and how corrupt they are. As you and I both know, they are very corrupt. But again, I don't want to sit here and pretend like Republicans aren't a pile of you know what. But I also want to echo the fact that these people are scums. So at the time, back in 2018, the state of New York, Andrew Cuomo was governor. And it was very controversial because Andrew Cuomo wanted to pass something called criminal justice reform. Now, it sounds all good and fluffy, but you actually have to read it to understand how atrocious it was. So what happened was is he wanted people to vote for this. He wanted all Dems to vote for it. And so he shoved into the state's budget what also included their pay, which also included a ban on plastic bags. And he put it all together. State budget, criminal justice reform, their pay, plastic bag ban. And so they had to pass all of that whole, which is insane, in order to get their paychecks. And so many Democrats, as you know, they use it as a defense because they're weak. They said, okay, we're just going to vote. Haven't really read it, but we're going to vote for this. Now, what was in criminal justice reform was absolutely atrocious, right? They said, oh, it includes, we're just canceling cash bail on non-violent offenses. Non-violent is what they called it. Well, who decides what's nonviolent? Well, Democrats would decide what's nonviolent. And if you're wondering what they thought was nonviolent, let me explain. They thought, when it comes to nonviolent crimes, they thought that manslaughter was nonviolent. They thought possession of child pornography is a nonviolent offense. So what does that mean? Well, that means if you're charged with any of those crimes, you don't go to jail. A judge can't intervene and hold you if you just killed someone. No. In fact, you were given a bench ticket. You were told to come back at a certain date to reappear in front of the court. And we saw it. We saw it in upstate New York. There was a mother who was crossing the street when she was mowed down by an illegal alien. He was charged with manslaughter. ICE placed a detainer on him. The local law enforcement did not hold him. He was released. I believe ICE placed a detainer on him, or try to at least. But long story short, he was released, and ICE later on did catch up with this individual and did arrest him while he was trying to flee. So that was a couple of days before it was kicked in, and the judge was like, listen, we're just going to let him go because in a couple of hours, criminal justice reform kicks in, and he'll be free. And so that was the real launching pad for criminal justice reform in New York. Now, it's not just that. It was atrocious. There's since been a little bit of reforms, but again, it's still obviously, as you could see, causing a lot of havoc in the state of New York. What else does it mean? Well, criminal justice reform as a whole was actually being pushed by a lot of lobbyists. It was well funded, millions and millions of dollars being flooded into the New York Democratic Party. And so they had to, and Andrew Cuomo had to push it forward because he had just taken all his money in from these groups. But they weren't just trying to keep this in New York. Criminal justice reform was actually supposed to be implemented through the entire country. That was the goal in all of this. They wanted the entire country to have to endure the effects of criminal justice reform. And again, it sounds really good and fluffy on the inside, but it is a criminal bill of rights. And unfortunately, the New York GOP just flat failed at re-angling it from a PR aspect because no American has time to sit there and sift through all these documents. So instead of going out there and coming up with a different way of doing it, they do what they always do. They wait until they're too fed up with Democrats and they say, well, we'll change everything. Keep donating to us. And they do nothing. But anyways, fast forward. If you read through the legislation, it had like the most atrocious piece I've ever seen. And I didn't understand quite why they were doing it, but I did over time. Okay, so what it did, let's say you're a female and you are on a subway in New York City and a man comes up and he touches you, which happens literally every day. And obviously it's an inappropriate touch. You know it. You call police. You want him arrested. You want to file a report. And then the officer looks you in the face and says, hey, listen, ma'am, just so you know, if you file this report, he is going to get access to your contact information, which includes your address and your phone number. And by he, I mean the suspect. If his lawyers want access to it, they get it. Now, if you're a female and you've just been groped by a man, do you want him knowing where you live? Well, obviously, you're not an idiot. And you know retaliation is very, very likely. So you will not give him your address. So keep in mind, okay, this is intentionally shutting people down. Tax as FBI is extremely gay. Well, they're supposed to be a change agency, TAC. But again, okay, back to the New York stuff, because I didn't want to miss that too. And I appreciate your support as always. I do. I truly do. But like back to this, what was the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of that was very simple. The purpose of putting this forward in the legislation was to suppress victims from coming forward and reporting crime. Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to make this a national thing. They wanted to drive down crime stats, not because crime was actually going down in the state of New York, but because they were able to successfully intimidate victims from coming forward. That was the goal of criminal justice reform. Now, you and I both know it failed. But the manipulation of crime stats, crime is significantly higher in New York because people still will not come forward to report things. You know, I was talking to an officer who was involved in a road rage situation. They're like, yeah, our victim says that there was a gun flashed at him. And guess what? We pulled over that person. There was a gun in his vehicle. But when the victim found out that his address and his phone number were going to be given to this suspect, the victim didn't file charges. And you can't file charges without a victim. They have a constitutional right to face their accuser. And so things like that were happening throughout New York State, and they still are to this day. Criminal justice reform, absolutely toxic. But the goal was to make this a national thing, to take it to a federal level. They wanted the reduction of crime stats to push this forward. And if you guys recall, last year I did a whole segment about how the FBI was manipulating their crime statistics under the Biden regime to make it seem like crime wasn't going up, but they actually weren't collecting all of the data from all of the agencies. And so statistically, it looked like it was going down. But now the the Trump administration has to go through all of this and figure out who didn't report, who did, what crimes weren't reported, and they have to correct the issue. Same thing as the jobs report numbers. They inflated their jobs report numbers by creating fake jobs and also creating a ton of government jobs to make it seem like the economy was doing well. That was the Biden regime. This is what Democrats do, right? Because they want to sit here and pretend like they're actually improving the quality of life. But if anyone at home right now lives in a blue state, blue city, you know you're not living in a safe area, very likely, that your quality of life is absolute garbage. And that's what it's like to live with anyone who, or in any area that's controlled by Democrats. And so what's going on right now in Washington, D.C. is you see a bunch of people sitting there going, politicians, Democrats going, oh, well, crime's actually down in Washington, D.C. No, it's not, you scumbags. No, it's not. You're lying. You're intentionally lying to the American people because you are a piece of garbage. You have an agenda to push. You want to sit here and pretend like President Trump is making something up. But anyone who goes to Washington, D.C., I was just there a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I literally got back to my hotel room before the sun went down because I know exactly what happens in D.C. And I think it's so crazy, right? Because Democrats sit there and pretend like DC is safe. It's not safe. We all know it's not safe. But we also know that there was an individual, a DNC staffer, who was brutally murdered during a robbery attempt, and his name is Seth Rich. So how can Democrats sit there and pretend like we shouldn't have security? So many staffers are hurt all the time in DC, and they don't make great money, but their love for country and to be there is why they do this job. So the least we could do is protect them. The least, the bare minimum. And you guys saw it. Obviously, Big Balls got assaulted because he's a freaking hero, that guy. I mean, intervenes in a robbery and then they beat him to a pulp and he's still sitting there and he's still fighting. I mean, he deserves protection, a promotion, and hopefully we get a presidential campaign out of that guy. But again, DC is a swamp. It's gross, but it's also high crime because they have let hooligans run the city and run the streets. And so that's what you see all the time, constantly. Like, I would love to have gone to a Washington Nationals game. But the reality is the surrounding area, not very safe. Sun goes down. I have a rental car. I'm not driving. I know that they steal cars. I remember that Uber driver that those two young girls robbed. They were robbing him of his vehicle when he was just trying to earn a living, barely getting by in life. And they robbed him. They ran him over with his car and left him there to die. And because they were kids, because they were minors, they were slapped on the wrist. No serious penalties. So when we talk about crime in DC, I'm not going to tread lightly on the issue. The reality of it is quite simple. These people are all lying to you. These people are all lying to you. And I'm just over it. I'm done with the lies. Democrats are a group of liars. Folks, if there's anything in tonight's stream that I missed that you wanted me to discuss, drop it right now in the comments. Go to Rumble right now, drop your topic, ask a question. We've got a few more minutes left in. Folks, if you're watching on Dear America, hello, hello. We love Dear America, as you know. This is my show page. I'll put it in the chat again. So make sure you follow us as well. So I drop a lot of things, pre-taped interviews and stuff drop on that page, not on Dear America. So just like stay in the loop. Also, and I'm going to actually put this in because this is very important. If you want to really stay in the loop, let's say like I get kicked off of, Rumble's supposed to be a free speech platform, so not very likely that, but let's say X decides to go back to its old roots and they nuke my account. Well, if you want to stay in the know and stay connected, we've set up this subscription page. It's a newsletter. I will send you all the most important things to this newsletter, but ultimately it's free. Okay. But if you want to support my work as an independent journalist and you'd like to get an email from me after the show today, pay to become a subscriber. Because folks, listen, it's a very inexpensive cost, I think. We've tried to do the bare minimum. I could run ads through this show. I could do all these things. I just don't want to bombard you with that. But the reality is this producer Pete doesn't work for free. There's a landlord here and they collect rent for me. I've got an office space, collects rent. So we need your support. Keep us up and running, and I appreciate it when you do. Head over to independentnewsroom.com. You can make a donation or you can become a paid subscriber. And I love it. I appreciate it because, again, no foreign governments. Israel's not paying for the show. Russia's not paying for the show. Qatar's not paying for the show. It's quite upsetting. You guys are paying for the show. I'm just kidding. So again, independentnewsroom.com, become a paid subscriber. We also have a free option as well. And you can also make a donation. You can make a monthly donation or a one-time donation. And I greatly appreciate you to do so. And once we wrap tonight, I'll go through the list. I will thank you personally in an email for doing just that. Independentnewsroom.com. Let's see. You guys are really liking this Chip Roy. Let me just mute it. So I can make sure the most relevant tweets are up right now for the chat. I don't know why I said it like that. Oh, Melania Trump book. Don't forget it. Sorry. It looks very conceited of me to be zoomed in that much, but it's not lowering. I just put it up right now. It's over on Amazon. You can pre-order it now. If you want an autographed copy, though, hold off. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter because I'll let you know when we get the official autographed copies coming your way. Again, we are streaming on X. Thank you, Herman. One of my favorite podcasts. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see. Let's go back to Rumble. Let's go back to Rumble. All right, folks. So if you have a question, comment, concern, drop it in the chat right now. Boom Boom wants to know, what is the status of your own crime incident? Yeah, so Boom Boom, I am waiting still for law enforcement to turn over the rest of the surveillance footage. I have one of the videos. I do not have the other one. The other one shows the suspect's face, or I should say suspicious person, since they've closed out the investigation. Folks, you're going to be like so enraged when you see this. This guy is chasing me down the street, and I had no idea, because when I turn my head, he starts to walk, so I don't get suspicious of him. And then it wasn't until he entered the stairwell that I know about his presence. So we've got the footage. I want you guys to be able to see what happened outside, so you could see that this was not somebody who had good intentions. And then I want you to be able to see in the stairwell as to what the interaction was like with this guy. So right now, currently, the police station is looking to correct the mistake that was made by their reporting officer. And I know a lot of you guys are like, do you carry? I can't disclose. I feel like it's like a safety reason, but I can assure you that I am a Second Amendment absolutist. So take that for what it's worth. And he did run out of the building. So take it for what it's worth. It's one of the crazy things, because I obviously do get a lot of death threats, and that's fine. It comes with like these things. Like I'm not a Democrat. I'm not going to sit here and cry and tell you, oh, the death threats. No. Tack, no, you can't shoot him. Unless this is a stand your ground state. And I'll leave it at that. But you're going to see the footage, and you are going to be enraged when you realize that this officer didn't take it seriously. He didn't even want to look for the surveillance footage. As soon as he came to my apartment, he was just dismissive of everything. I just didn't want to really have to do any work. And it was very obvious to me. So as soon as he left, I submitted a FOIA for his body cam footage. And I also submitted a FOIA for the police department, who had a camera right outside of my complex door. And I also submitted a FOIA to obtain the evidence and the report. And then I had to follow up with the property owner to get that all submitted to the police. And then that's when this officer filed a police report that was false. And I caught him. So again, you kind of got to do your own legwork. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm not saying it's a department issue. When I brought it to the supervisor's attention and he saw the footage, he said, I am so sorry. He apologized. He said that he was going to correct the issue, that he was going to make sure that the footage made its way into evidence, and that it was in fact saved. And so I'm waiting for them to correct the issue. But it's well documented now that he did lie. Yeah, don't F with me. Don't F with me. Pepper spray, not really effective. I feel like I probably sprayed in my face. Need something with like a little bit more of a poom. Not a poom, a boom. But you guys are gonna. I want to release the footage I do have, but it doesn't tell the whole story. And I feel like as a journalist, that's pretty garbagey of me to do. Garbagey, not even a word, but it is tonight. Would be absolute trash for me to release some of it and then not release it all at once. And because I need the public's health, I need to find out who this guy was. The suspicious person is how police are now referring to it. You guys, he was chasing me, and I had no idea. And I know because I got the footage, because I submitted a FOIA request. So there will be no court case. I know that we're asking that now. There will be no court case because police, sadly, are just saying it's a suspicious person and nothing more. I wouldn't let him get close enough to me. And again, we'll leave that open. But when you are going up a staircase that you don't belong in because you don't live in the building, and you are repeatedly skipping steps to catch up to the person who is ahead of you while asking to pet their dog, which this person tells you 2 times to get out and leave because you don't live here, and you are still rapidly approaching me, you are not innocent. So, we will continue to fight this battle. I am not the person you ever want to piss off in life. I've got some downtime these days. So don't tick me off. Don't tick me off. I think everyone should be more of a fighter when it comes to these issues. And I don't mean to sound like a feminist because like that's the last thing I ever want to sound like. No, seriously. But the reality of it is women all the time. I mean, I used to just in New York. I had an incident when I was 18 where I tried going to police in Sullivan County, the sheriff's office. They sent 2 deputies to my college at the time, and I tried filing a police report in regards to a pedophile that was coming after me. And like they were just so dismissive of it, like instantly, and just were not taking it seriously. Like, as soon as I started opening my mouth to talk about what happened, they were just done. And it's not all cops. And I wish I knew then what I know now about how to fight back, how to obtain your records, how to document things, but I didn't know. I mean, that was what, 2009, 2010? I didn't know the things I know now, and I wanna help other people know this because, like, you gotta be able to go. You've gotta be able to defend yourself. No one's coming to save you, and I think that needs to be the tone for every situation. No one's gonna come to save you. You will be the one forced to save yourself. I tell people all the time when I report these stories and I'm speaking with victims of crime, like, my empathy is with you, but you've gotta buckle up because now is the time to get serious. Now's the time because you have a very limited window where evidence will be preserved, and you need everything documented in your possession. Like, I document everything. I, like, now know to request through FOIAs, obviously, to request all of the information, all of the footage. Didn't know that when I was 18. Now I know it. And I will continue to make videos and just keep telling people this is what you have to do. You've got to be your greatest advocate. You can't rely on me hoping that I will read your email and want to fight for you. The reality of it is, I'm one journalist. I know I get a lot of requests all the time, like, oh, there's like this issue that you're dealing with. I am not a criminal rights advocate. I'm a journalist. And so I'm very limited with the stories I can take on, especially because I'm one person. But I try my best to give you the tools to succeed. There's a lot of stories that I don't even take on, that I don't report on, but I'll call the person giving me a tip and just say, hey, listen, this is what I think you should do. I'm no lawyer, but this is what I think you should do. And now it's up to you to go out there and do it. Can't do it myself. So, folks, be your biggest advocate. Be your biggest advocate. Go out there, fight for yourself, and do it to your best of your ability. Don't let up because it's men too. It's not just women. Like I was just telling you guys, if you're in a custody battle, which I hope you're not, because I think that's awful, split homes, awful. But you need to be able to have all of the evidence. If your ex-spouse calls law enforcement, you need to get all of that evidence. Because if you could prove that this person is lying, let's say they change up their story, right? They told the police officer that you came at them with a knife. And then you get to court date and they're saying it was a screwdriver. And you have the proof. Yeah, now you could sit there and prove that this person was a liar and they can't be trusted. So FOIA requests are so important. Again, you could FOIA your police reports, some of the evidence that was used. That's if it's not still an ongoing investigation, but you might as well just throw it out there and try and let the police station, let anyone, the agency, let them all reject you. Who cares? It takes you 15 minutes. You can't go backwards. You could only do it in the time that you're allowed to do it, the window. So again, that's what you have to do. You got to become your biggest advocate. Don't sit there and cry, get into a corner, get all upset. Buckle up. FOIA request could be your biggest ally. I caught the officer lying in a FOIA request, in a police report. You could do it too. And again, get as much physical evidence. Get everything in writing. Like when I was writing the management company, the property owner, I did so in writing. And then they fear that, right? Because twice I tried reaching out to them, they didn't respond. The third time when I threatened to get a lawyer involved, that's when I got it. So don't be a jerk. Be nice, but be aggressive. Lurk wants to know, did you ever find a security camera of your car? I don't know. Police are still working on that. Car's totaled though, so I haven't gotten a new car. I don't know what I'm going to do. I went to one car dealership and it was such a headache when I looked at how expensive new cars are. And I was so spoiled. I paid for that car in cash. And so I haven't made a car payment in forever. And when I'm looking at all these car prices right now, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to make a car payment. So I'm still up in the air. And by up in the air, I mean, as soon as I went to one dealership, I just kind of was like, I'm over this. I'll just rent a car for a little bit longer and then figure it out later. This is how I deal with stressful situations. I actually don't deal with them at all. don't deal with them all. So that's my take on that. But folks, I mean, just be your biggest advocate. Fight your own battles. No one's going to fight harder than you. And so fight like hell. You've got to be able to do it. All right, guys. So we do have a show this Thursday. If all goes well, we have a show this Thursday. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Also, a reminder, set it on your calendar right now. InfoWars. Your girl is the host of Good Morning InfoWars, which is available on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So, hear the dog. I don't know what it is. Sounds like a sick stomach. So set your calendars. 10 a.m. Eastern time, Saturdays, me over on Infowars.com, band.video as well. We're on Rumble, we're on X. So watch the show. It's great. It's a fast-paced news show. So I'm constantly just hitting all of these topics in a short time. We try to keep every segment under 6 minutes, which I love because, I mean, I don't like long segments. I have a very short attention span. So tell me everything I need to know now. And thank you. That's how we do that show. So again, folks, Good Morning InfoWars. I am your host, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you tune in. I'm a little biased, but I think I'm great at this. Every now and then I slip up, but hey, it's a learning curve. That's how you kids call it. All right, folks, if you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up independentnewsroom.com. Once I sign out of this, I'm going to head on over to independentnewsroom.com, check to see who are my latest subscribers, paid subscribers. If you subscribe and you pay, let's see, I'm going to thank you. You could do the $5 a month option, or you could upgrade to become a founding member, which I love and I appreciate so, so much. And we're going to be dropping a bunch of exclusives on there very, very soon. So you can do that. Let's just say you want to just become a donor to the show. We also on the independentnewsroom.com have a donation tab. You can make a one-time donation or a monthly donation, and you get to pick the dollar amount. And it's done through DonorBox, so it is safe and secure, and we appreciate it. That's how we grow. So I thank you all for helping out. All right, folks. A lot going on. I will be here Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure you join me. I will also, again, InfoWars, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. But for now, thank you for joining me on this live stream. I'll catch you here again next time. Have a great evening.